This is a long overdue video talking about how I got my master's of nursing degree without having my BSN, which is your bachelor's of science in nursing. A lot of people don't talk about this, and I am so happy to finally bring you all the real raw tips, tricks, insights, all of that about this topic. So get your notepads ready. We're gonna get right into it, baby. Now, for those of you that don't know, I graduated August of 2023 with my bachelor's in health informatics, which is IT healthcare merged together. I've worked in various healthcare roles. I'm talking a lab assistant, I've worked as a CNA, as a medical assistant. The list literally goes on, but for the most part, I've mostly worked in healthcare, and I knew that that's where I wanted to be. Now, I changed my major in undergrad 6 times. Yeah, 6 times. So it took me 6 years to get my bachelor's degree, which is not traditional. So when I tell you I'm your girl for all things non-traditional, I think in my sense, humbly, I've definitely paved the way for myself. And if you're one of those people that like you want a career change, you may not have the traditional route, I'm definitely your go-to girl, okay? So with that being said, I graduated, like I said, August of 2023. It was really difficult to land a job in informatics without having informatics experience. I did have an internship, but I also started looking into master's programs. I told myself, set a timeline, always important, that if I didn't have a job walking into graduation of 2023, I was jumping into a master's program. And literally 2 months later, I jumped into my master's program. So it's called Direct Entry Masters of Nursing. Yes, you can get a master's in nursing without having your bachelor's of science in nursing. I know, you heard that correctly. You do not need your BSN to get your MSN, all right? So how these programs work are, you need to have at least a bachelor's in something. It doesn't matter what it is, but you have to have a bachelor's. Depending on the school, the institution, the university that you are interested in, there are different requirements. Some may require you to have an entry exam completed, so a TEAS or a HESI. Some may require you to have some sort of work experience, like a CNA, PCT, medical assistant. Some may require you to have a certain GPA and or volunteer hours. I mean, every school is different. I can only speak to mine, and we didn't have to have an entry exam done. We just had to meet the prerequisites, GPA requirement, nursing statement, and ideally they wanted you to have some sort of work experience. I went to Marquette University, which is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they also have a satellite campus, which means like it's offsite in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. There is a list of schools that have direct entry of nursing programs. Please make sure you search those up. I'm going to provide a list in the caption, but for those of you that are interested in changing careers or financial stability, financial freedom, this is a great opportunity for you. I mean, I think I just told you guys. Did I tell you guys? I don't know if I told you, but I changed my major 6 times in undergrad. Yeah, it took me 6 years to graduate with my bachelor's degree. And I just wanted to be in healthcare. I wanted to do something in that field. I just didn't know what. And shout out to my parents. They were telling me since I was 18 to become a nurse. And I wasn't trying to hear it. I wasn't trying to go all for that. Like, I just thought, nursing, bedside hospitals, been in the hospitals, don't want to work that, don't want to do this. I'm young, I'm impatient, I'm not empathetic. Like, when I tell you, I was crossing off all the things. But as funny as it is, you know how you do those career aptitude tests to figure out, like, what would be the best career for you? It was always nursing for me. It was always nursing. And I was running from it, running for the hills. Because all of that was bedside, and that was really what was portrayed for years and years and years up until recently, where now you see forensics nurse, you see clinical research nurse, you see aesthetic nurse, you see the list literally goes on. So if you are someone who is really trying to change careers and you just kind of don't know like what to do, I highly recommend doing a direct entry master's of nursing program. There's so many opportunities for you. Coming from me, an indecisive queen, do it. Jump into it. How much was my program? The prices went up, and once again, the list that you will find online about direct entry masters of nursing programs, every school has a different price range. Mine at the time, which is I went into my master's at 2024 and I recently graduated August of 2025, was $69,000, which I know sounds like a whole lot of coins, but it was honestly the cheapest out of all of the states that I looked up, out of all of the institutions, out of all of the programs. That was the cheapest. So I factored in how much it was going to cost for me to move from Georgia to Wisconsin, like all the things, and it was still coming out to be the cheapest, most cost-effective program. So keep that in mind when you're doing your research. You need to factor in if you're going to have to relocate, how much is that going to cost you, how long is the program, what are the requirements. Those are things that I highly encourage you to do your research, do a pros and cons list, weigh out your options, because this is a huge investment and you honestly want to make the best decision for your situation. So $69K. Now the next question that I get asked often was, how did you fund your master's program? Coming from a first gen college graduate, I had no money, all right? And in my mind, I didn't know, like, I really had to teach myself everything when it came to college, when it came to finances. And I was so adamant throughout my whole undergrad not to take out student loans, not to take out a private loan, not to max out credit cards, all those things, because I really wasn't taught financial literacy. I just knew in my mind, I have financial anxiety, and if I don't have money for it in cash, I'm not going for it, you feel me? But as I got older and I realized that I have dreams and aspirations, and sometimes that requires you to make certain decisions, such as taking out a student loan or maxing out on that student loan. That's exactly what I did. Took out a student loan for a Grad Plus loan, which is on FAFSA. Maxed it out because I was moving to a new state. I needed to have the financial means to pay rent, buy groceries, all the things, and I didn't know if I was gonna get a job. Like, I was applying for jobs in Wisconsin before even getting to Wisconsin, and I wasn't having any luck. So, max out your student loans. You can live off of your student loans. That is what I did, and I highly recommend for those of you that are going for a higher level education to do that. I didn't even know that was a thing to do until I did it. This whole time I was like, how can they afford to go to school, pay rent, do this, do that? Like, maxing out on your student loans. Did my program consist of? My program was an 18-month accelerated program. It was 5 semesters. When I tell you, nursing school is no joke. All right, and mine was accelerated, and it was a master's. So it consisted of clinicals, labs, simulations, exams, and then obviously my lecture classes. I took about 6 to 7 classes for 5 semesters. And I know for some of you, you might think, oh, that's not that bad. In nursing school, it is. Now, mind you, I did do 6 classes undergrad towards like the last year of my program, which honestly, I'm very grateful that I did that because I was able to understand the workload that came with that. And baby, I was well prepared. Nursing school was difficult in a sense of having to balance all of that, 6 to 7 classes, on top of studying for those exams, on top of, at a point in time, I was working part-time. So the workload was heavy, but as long as you are able to manage your time wisely and just try to work ahead, it's doable. It really is. I will say this though, nursing school is not for the weak. These professors can literally care less about all of your life obligations, your personal life, out the window. I faced so many hardships in my program. People passing away, my apartment catching on fire, not having a place to live. Like, it was a lot, and there was zero empathy for me. They literally say your life does not stop when you're in nursing school. I used to come to school some days literally after crying for hours and hours because of things that were going on in my personal life. But I mean, the thing is, I am not an emotional person. I'm like a tough love. I got it. But nursing school broke me down. Like, it's not even funny, but literally mentally, I've never felt that way in my life. And I feel like that right there is the biggest challenge with nursing school, is sometimes you're gonna feel very alone, unsupported, not considered. And I feel like if you find your community of people, or you're living within the state that you're from or whatnot, like, you have that support system. But me, I was in a state by myself, didn't know anybody. And I'm not gonna lie, some people are weird. Like, I can't trust these people in my nursing program, although you would think that we're all going through this together and people are gonna look out for them at the end of the day. So with that in mind, I would just say, for those people that I did meet, that I actually connected with and I clicked with, I genuinely appreciate you guys. Love you down bad, baby. Love you guys down bad. But yeah, you can never really trust people. I'm just saying, and nursing school is very cutthroat. There's gonna be people that are very envious and jealous of you, your grades, maybe how you look, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, enough about that. There are some direct entry Masters of Nursing programs that are longer than 18 months, so it's not as accelerated. And I know now that my school offers that. Marquette offers a 36 months, which turns 1.5 years into 3 years of the program, and you have a lot more work-life balance, a lot more flexibility with that. And people that have kids, are married, have to work full-time, that program. Or there's other schools that offer a similar format, so keep that in mind. I know that with my program, it was mostly online, which I thrive on online classes, and here and there we would go into class for lab, simulation, exams. Now, if you went to the Milwaukee campus, that one was all in person, so your lectures were in person, exams, lab, simulations, all the things. Personally, I knew I wanted to work at some point in time, so I did not want to be part of that. I wanted to have more flexibility, so I did my lectures online, did my assignments online, a couple quizzes online, then lab simulation, that was in person, exams are in person. So I had a little bit more flexibility to work. Biggest advice that I can give anybody going into any nursing program, more specifically a direct entry nursing program, because you don't have that nursing experience, is to get an internship or an externship as you get closer to your program ending. Every school has different requirements. I know for mine, you couldn't do an internship or externship until you were in your 4th semester because you have to have certain classes completed, like pathophysiology, med-surg, which is adult 1 and adult 2, your pharmacology. And so I ended up working as an ICU intern and a med-surg extern at 2 different hospitals in Wisconsin, and I felt like, yes, it was honestly very overwhelming because I was going to those twice a week on top of going to clinical, which was a different hospital system as well. So learning 3 different hospital systems, it was a lot. It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Every hospital does their own thing differently, but I'm so happy I got exposed to that, especially to say I was an ICU intern. And needless to say, if you are doing this program, do an internship, do an externship, get that exposure, because you use those skills in the real world. On top of that, 99% of the time, if you do an internship or externship, once you graduate and you pass your NCLEX, they're going to hire you on as a new grad nurse. And you've already built the relationships with the staff there. You've already understood the skill sets for the most part. A lot of that stuff just transitions into your RN role. So it's a smooth transition. I recommend it for anybody because now you don't have to stress about a job because you've already showed the supervisors and the managers, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this while balancing nursing school. I want to be a nurse on this unit. Boom. Like, I just have to say, I learned everything literally through my own experience. And what I'm telling you are things that I did myself, what worked for me. I was offered the role at one of the hospitals. I ended up not accepting it, obviously. Yes, here I am. But I was offered the role at one of the hospitals. The other one, unfortunately, they met the capacity and they told me that I would have to like wait until the summer and whatnot. And I was like, nah, I'm okay. I'm gonna go back to Georgia anyway. So it's all good. I'm grateful for the experience and the opportunities to learn different skill sets and just put myself in uncomfortable positions so that I can utilize it for my actual nursing role. So definitely stop listening to those people that tell you to go back to school to get your bachelor's in nursing, because you don't need to do that. You can do a direct entry master's of nursing program, be done as soon as 18 months and start your life and start your career, build financial stability, build financial wealth, and start impacting lives. And I know that it seems scary at first, but you're gonna find your people in nursing school. And if you don't, that's okay. You found yourself. Like, you might lose yourself and find yourself, and that's okay too. Here I am, officially an RN. I am MSN RN, put some respect on the name, okay? I'm just in awe that I really went through all of that, and that's gonna be you on the other side once you decide to go through with the program. And a lot of times in the moments we feel like, why are we doing this? But when you're doing this program, remember why you started. Remember what brought you here. Hold on to that, because there's gonna be a lot of difficult times during your accelerated MSN program that you're gonna question absolutely everything. And just know that it goes by really fast and you're going to be on the other side sooner rather than later. And I'm so happy to welcome you guys to the RN community when that time comes. I hope this video was really, really helpful. If you have any further questions about direct entry Master's of Nursing program, I'm here to answer them. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I have more content on TikTok as well. If I'm your new internet nurse bestie.